What if I told you that you could make 4 times more progress in 2026 than anyone else could ever make, without working more hours, without being any more talented than you are today? Here's the real question. If everyone on Earth has got 24 hours in a day, why do some people build empires while others are barely keeping up? The difference isn't time, it's how they use it. And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact method that allows me to run everything simultaneously without burning out and sacrificing part of life that matters so much. If you're planning 2026 or even just planning your next month, you need to watch this video to the very end. A lot of people ask me, how do I manage my time? And I understand. Academic life is overwhelming. We teach, we grade, we do administrative work that suddenly looks urgent. We are expected to do research, write papers, submit grants, present at conferences. Then there is home and the house to take care of, the kids to spend real quality time with, the aging parents who also need our support, and the spouse who deserve more than whatever is left from our energy at the end of each day. And somehow, in the middle of all this, we are supposed to have a life, a self, a body, a mind, personal progress, which is typically the first thing that gets sacrificed. Everyone says, work smart, not hard, as if that solves anything. They tell you what to do, they tell you why you need to do this, but nobody tells you how. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do here, now, in this very video. I wasn't always this person, and you need to understand this. In 2009, 2010, my life was in crisis. I was completely lost. I had no vision for the future. I didn't speak a single line of English. I had no work experience, no prospect, nothing to rely on. Just a bachelor's degree and a dream of a master's degree that honestly, even that felt too ambitious. I had no savings, no plan, no direction. I was extremely overweight, extremely unhappy, but deep down, I knew that I wanted a big life. I just didn't know how to get there. And no, I didn't figure it all out overnight. It was a process, a transition, but eventually things shifted. I completed my master's degree within 1 year, my PhD in a year and a half, and just stayed there for 2 years to meet the university's requirements. I published 13 Q1 articles, filed multiple intellectual properties, had 2 offers lined up from the top institutions in the world, and moved into my postdoc, kept pushing, kept growing, and eventually became a professor at the School of Engineering and Sciences. At the same time, I was offered a nationwide leadership role, training faculty, helping them publish in top-tier journals, and becoming the authorities in their fields. And then from there, everything escalated. Today, I run my own academy with professors from 41 countries who receive my training and continue achieving milestones with my team that honestly, earlier versions of me could never have believed. The transformation wasn't only intellectual, the skills, the system, the abilities, it was physical too. Those who knew me back then cannot believe I am the same person I was 100 kilos. I recorded an entire video about the journey, about drawing the line and refusing to live a miserable life any longer. And through all of this, here is the one thing that I've learned. The power is not in being extraordinary. The power is being ordinary and then doing the little extra that most people never do. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. So let me show you the 6-step system that changed everything for me. So first, before anything else, know where you're heading. I keep a quote from Emerson on my desk right in front of my eyes every single day. The world steps aside for the man who knows where he's going. And it's true. That simple act of knowing your direction is one of the most powerful forces behind real progress. Because when days get tough, and they always do, when you feel exhausted, overwhelmed, or pulled in 1,000 directions, the one thing that keeps you moving is a goal, a dream, something big enough to pull you forward even when everything feels heavy. If you don't know where you're going, if you don't know that you're standing at point A in your life and you want to reach to point B, then everything becomes an arbitrary movement, activity without purpose, motion without progress. So ask yourself honestly, why do I do what I do? Where am I heading? What is the ultimate goal? And then eliminate the tasks that don't move you towards your bigger goal. And if you don't have a bigger goal yet, that's not a failure. Design one. But here is a beautiful thing. Once you define your mission, once you know what you're building towards. You become a magnet for strategies, opportunities, and people who can help you get there. Those who are talented, committed, and aligned with you naturally move towards you. And those who are not, they'll drift away. It works both ways, and it's a blessing. So if you don't yet have a mission that wakes you up in the morning, a direction that excites you, a purpose that gives you the strength on the hard days, you can change that right today. Review your thoughts, review your values, review where you are in life and where you are heading, and then design a mission strong enough to carry you forward. The second step is simple. Plan your life in 12-week cycles. Not 12 months, not a year, 12 weeks. We humans have an unbelievable talent for taking time for granted. We waste hours, sometimes days, doing things that don't move us even an inch closer to our goals. That's exactly why you must begin with the objective, because if you don't know where you're heading, what's the point of designing a plan to get anywhere? When I read the 12-week year, it shifted the entire way I operate. Ever since I adopted this system, every 12 weeks, I achieve what most people achieve in an entire year. And I'm not saying that as a metaphor, it's really what happens. You would be surprised how much time individuals, labs, and entire organization waste simply because they plan in 12 months cycle. 12 months is just too long for focus. It's too long for intensity, too long for accountability. But 12 weeks, it's sharp, it's measurable. That's pressure. The kind of pressure that's healthy and produces results. So create a 12-week year plan and give yourself 12 weeks to execute, and then take a few days for reflection to adjust, refine, and repurpose for the next cycle. Now, keep something in mind. Humans are terrible at estimating how long things take, how many hours, how much energy, how many resources. That's where Parkinson's law becomes your reality check. Parkinson's law says that the task will expand to fill the time you give it. Think of it like a gas. It expands to fill the container. So your job is to shrink the container, compress time, give yourself less space so you produce more speed, because speed is your biggest competitive edge. I can catch myself sometimes over-planning, overthinking, creating 10 versions of the same plan, when in reality, doing the task would have taken me less time and energy than the mental exhaustion I have created over thinking too much about it. We complicate things, stretch things, create scenarios. Sometimes you just need to start, jump in, begin messy, and clean up later. Now, here is how the 12-week year actually works. You identify 1, 2, or at the most 3 goals for your 12-week cycle. No 10, no 15, 3 maximum. Otherwise, you're going to overwhelm yourself and achieve none of them. Make them ambitious, make them a stretch, but don't make them ridiculous. Saying I'll publish 20 articles in the next 3 months, it's nonsense. By choosing goals that require real commitment, goals that push you but don't break you, that's where you find the sweetest spot. Then break each goal into consistent daily actions. Every week in the 12-week year is equivalent to 1 month. So you track your progress with precision. Every day, every week, you build upward momentum that never stops. I've used this system in my life ever since I've learned it. And every time I set 3 ambitious goals, I achieve them, because the structure is clear and the timeline is strict enough to keep me moving. By the end of the 12-week, you will be shocked at how much you've accomplished. Then you can take a few days to reflect, reset, adjust, and step into the next cycle sharper than before. This is how you 4x your results. While everyone else is dragging around a 12-month plan, you're executing 4 cycles a year. For you, time becomes sacred, and every 12 weeks becomes an entire year of progress. So don't take time for granted. Compress it, direct it, and use it with intention. The third step is this. Identify your golden hours. We don't have the same level of energy, focus, and concentration throughout the day. It fluctuates, and that's normal. In fact, it's unnatural to expect ourselves to be operating at peak performance all day long. Your willpower drops, your focus dips, your motivation drops. That's part of being human. That's why you must understand your body inside out, your physiological rhythm. Know exactly when you're at your best and reserve those hours for the intellectual heavy lifting, the tasks that require depth, concentration, and real mental power. Are you a night owl or an early bird? Neither of them is better than the other. What matters is that you know your rhythm and you honor it. For me, I'm a super early bird. I wake up at 4 a.m. and I get the majority of the meaningful work done before the world even wakes up. That's when I feel the sharpest, the most energized, and the most focused. Of course, distractions try to creep in, thoughts, ideas, messages, but I immediately call myself out. No, head down. Eat your frog first. Do the hardest thing when you are at your strongest. Now, here is something most people don't realize. You only get 4 to 5 peak hours of deep focus per day, maximum. And they usually come in 2 separate waves, not in one long break. While everyone's rhythm is unique, a common pattern looks like this. After breakfast, productivity rises sharply, often around 9 to 11. After lunch, energy dips, harder to focus. Later in the afternoon, another rise around 3 to 5 p.m. or max 6. After that, the brain is done. But again, you must map your pattern, not someone else's. For example, my brain becomes a cabbage after 7 p.m. It simply doesn't function. I wake up at 4 a.m., so by the evening, I'm done. I'm finished. So I leave the low intellect task, replying to random messages, cleaning emails, small logistics, for the afternoon or early evening when my cognitive power is low. But anything that requires depth, writing, creating, preparing complex material, that goes into my peak hours. And during those hours, I kick out every distraction, literally everything. When you enter your golden hours, the noise will try to invade. Messages, emails, small logistics, family concerns, random worries. This is where high performers differentiate themselves from everyone else. They become masters, absolute masters at filtering out the noise. They give their peak hours to the signal, the meaningful work, the work that moves the needle. The sharpest leaders have this quality in common. They are exceptionally good at blocking the noise. And of course, there are unbelievably smart, talented people who achieve very little in life because they never learn to separate signal from noise. So learn to identify it, protect your signal, eliminate the noise. If your golden hours are at night, then work at night. If you're an early bird, then work in the early mornings. But whatever they are, design those hours so that nobody, not even the people that you love the most, have the right to interrupt you. This is your future. This is you setting the standard for your children, showing your partner what commitment looks like. Because before anything else, you're an individual, a person with a mission and a responsibility towards yourself. This next principle is something I had to learn the hard way. Don't do what does not generate the equivalent of your hourly rate. But before we even get there, let me make one thing very clear. Success is about eliminating, not adding. Subtraction gets you to the next level, not addition. Don't add new projects before finishing the ones you have already on your plate. Don't enter collaborations when you will be the 5th or the 6th author if you haven't produced enough work with you as the first author. Don't take on new task that doesn't add value or don't contribute to your bigger picture. Now that you have the bigger picture in place, now that you know what's your mission and where you're building towards, it's time to get smart. What task, system, and infrastructure actually leads you towards that future, and what's simply a noise. Eliminate anything that does not align ruthlessly. One of the biggest success hacks used by top performers worldwide is that they are the most brutal auditors of their own activities. They examine their day-to-day operation constantly, and they refuse to do anything that doesn't align with their mission. They don't let their team do random, flashy, interesting stuff that looks exciting but adds zero value. Become that strict with yourself. Audit your activities. Look at everything you're adding into your life and see if it's just cool or convenient, then just cut it out. Now, the second part is the one that took me years to truly internalize. A famous business coach once said, calculate your hourly rate and never do work that generates less than that. So what does it actually mean? For a long time, I was brutal to myself, trying to save pennies by doing everything at home, cooking, cleaning, ironing, laundry, everything, all of it. It took me years to realize how ridiculous that was. Why? Because I didn't get a PhD to spend my life ironing shirts and scrubbing floors. Yes, of course I can do that. But what's the point? Saving $500 at the end of the month at the cost of my productivity? So I calculated my hourly rate and I realized that my time is worth about $200 an hour. So why on earth would I spend my life doing tasks that are worth $10 to $15 an hour? Not only was I wasting my own time, the time that I could have invested in the work that truly moves the needle, but I was also taking away an opportunity from someone else, someone who needs the job, someone who can build an income, a stable life, a future for their family by helping me. When I finally understood this, everything shifted. Delegation isn't about being good for certain tasks. It's about being smart. It's about respecting your own potential. It's about letting other people earn a living while you earn back your time. And when you start delegating, when you remove those tasks from your life and focus on what only you can do, that's when you start winning. That's when things start shifting at a completely different scale. Here is one of the most important qualities you can develop, a built-in sense of urgency. So let's get serious for a second. If you're trying to get shit done, you must build a sense of urgency like no one else around you. Especially in science, your lit review expires, your data becomes outdated, your field moves forward with or without you. The world doesn't wait. This is one of the strongest predictors of success in any field. The people who rise in science, in business, in academia, anything, all share one trait. They understand time. They respect time and they refuse to waste it. They choose progress over perfection. They catch themselves sleeping 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 5 minutes scrolling, quietly upgrading meaningless tasks as important, and they shut it down immediately because they know the truth. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they waste their hours on nonsense. And here's an important thing to consider. You gotta give yourself credit when you achieve things. Celebrate milestones, celebrate achievements, but remember, achievement is the result divided by the time it took to get there. If it took an eternity to finish something, there's nothing remarkable about it. Reward yourself and reward your team when tasks are completed with excellence and delivered in the short, realistic time frame, because that's where the real progress truly happens. So become hyper time conscious. Time is money. Time is value. Time is the ultimate currency of your life. It's the only thing that once taken from you, you can never take it back. It can never be replaced. There is no refund, no restart, no compensation for the wasted hours. And when you truly internalize that, when urgency becomes part of who you are, not something you occasionally turn on, your results change at the level most people will never experience. And the last piece is this: forget your mood, follow the plan. Forget about motivation. Motivation is such a shitty friend. Unreliable, inconsistent, unpredictable. It's there one morning and gone by the afternoon. It shows up when life feels light and disappears when things get heavy. If you build your future on motivation, you will fail without a doubt. You will lose track and fall off the path the moment your emotions swing, and the emotions always swing. So here is the truth. Regardless of how you feel, act. Regardless of your mood, move. Regardless of whatever has happened that keeps popping in your head, follow the plan. And when you operate in 12-week year cycle, you immediately see why this matters. Every single day counts. Every week is an entire month for you. You don't have the luxury of waiting for inspiration. You cannot give your emotions the floor. You cannot let your feelings negotiate with your ambition. Follow the plan. Be strict, be disciplined, and don't give a damn whether you are feeling like it or not today. Because here's what's going to happen. Down the road, when you hit your objectives, when you mark massive milestones, when you 4x your achievements while everybody else is still crawling through their yearly goals, when you are living at a level that others can't even articulate, that's when you feel proud. That's where everything makes sense. Not in the moments where your emotion tried to pull you backward, not in the mornings when you were tired, not in the days when frustrations showed up. Those emotions are irrelevant. They are temporary. They are noise. Your future is built by the actions you take regardless of how you feel. So work for the day you will be proud, not for the mood you are in today. So there's a lot in this video, a lot you can take, distill, and turn into action. But I want to leave you with one question, and I genuinely want to know your answer to it. What is the one takeaway, the one that you're going to carry into your plan for the 2026? Not 10 things, not the whole list, just one. Tell me in the comment. I really want to hear from you.